Hello, hello, hello. Cheers, Kevin here. How are you doing today on this fine Thursday, or whatever day you may happen to be watching this? Of course, saying that, this is a very casual type of conversation-y video. This type of video where I turn on the camera, I talk to you for a while, and then I stop talking to you for a while, and some of you watch it, and it's kind of cool. I started doing these videos, these sort of like, I'm just going to talk to the camera, back when I was still in New York, and just sort of an act of desperation. I couldn't come up with something. Like, I wanted to be making stuff and I wasn't making stuff. I was like, okay, well, I'll just do this then. I'll just talk. I won't edit. I won't do the jump cuts. I will just try and talk and be candid and make that work. Since then, I feel like I could be doing more, and I haven't been. Now, I've said this many times, I feel like I should be doing, I don't know. I need to focus on the writing side, I think. It's very easy to get seduced by the way, yeah, totally tangenting all over the place here. It's very easy to get utterly distracted by, like, the cool, shiny technology side of making videos, or the fun editing, squishing stuff together side, all of that. Or like, oh, I've got to get better sound, I've got to do whatever. And I do that. I don't like the audio as it currently is. The room is acoustically pretty reasonable. There's treatment all over. But the microphone that I'm using just doesn't have the range, and so you're getting a little bit less than what you ought to. I'm budgeting for a better microphone. I want to get like a nice, really high-end microphone. More expensive than the one that I use for podcasting. So it's expensive, but I'm budgeting. What I would have done when I was living in New York and just ordering delivery food and being super irresponsible, I'd have just been like, no, let's just order it. Let's just put it on the credit card and then just worry about it, right? That's fine. It's going to pay itself back. No, now I've actually got like a whole separate little savings account. And I'm just like, yeah, put this amount in there. We're just going to wait. And then we're going to go ahead and get that microphone. So, what was I talking about? Yeah, it's easy to get seduced by all of this stuff that I've just started talking about. When really, the important thing with making a video is, do you have something to say? And can you say it in a meaningful way? And that's a question. To do that, you need to work on writing. To be a good speaker person, you need to be able to write. Now, that doesn't mean that you always have to write things down. If you're giving a conference presentation, or you're making a video, or you're doing whatever, you're doing a podcast, whatever. A lot of that stuff you may do off the cuff, depending on the environment, or the amount of time you have for prep or whatever. But you were still going through the process of writing, whether it's mentally, like I'm doing right now. I'm saying something in my head approximately half a second before it comes out of my mouth, which is not a lot of, like, censorship buzzer pressing time. But I need to spend more time kind of sitting down and actually just being like, all right, I'm going to turn everything off. I'm just gonna write. Just going to sit down, just going to write, just going to practice that. So it used to be what I did with these videos. I used to script everything, and then I would memorize little chunks of it, and I would deliver the whole blah, 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 and then I would move over here, and I would pick up I would move over here off camera. Sorry about that. I would move over here. There we go. No, that's still, wow, there's not a lot of range. All right, fine. I would be here, I did blah, 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 blah. I'd go over here, and I go, all right, what am I supposed to say? Do I have a... There we go, electronic device. What did I write? And then a thing, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and then thing, blah, blah, blah. And then I just say it multiple times. And then a thing, blah, blah, blah. And then a thing, blah, blah, blah. And then a thing, blah, blah. And it got to the point where you weren't even able to, like, progress if you felt you said it right, because the camera was doing its autofocusing thing. And so generally I'd want to make sure that I had at least 2 or 3 good takes for every single paragraph that I read, which was a lot of work. But I liked the stuff that I was doing. I think some of it turned out pretty well, so who knows. It's been 2 weeks since we last talked, which is really kind of what I had in mind to talk about when I started this, because these, I don't know, I spend the day kind of thinking like, oh, what do I want to discuss, and I just turn on, like, not having really come to an answer. But it's been about 2 weeks, and the last week I kind of just disappeared. I sort of fell off the wagon, not in a way. Didn't make any videos, didn't do the podcast. That one was not all me. I was still planning to do the podcast, but we had a scheduling issue, so we had to pass that. And then didn't write a blog post. didn't even really eat particularly well. I mean, I'm already eating pretty strictly to start, so falling off of the wagon there just meant still eating at a calorie deficit and still losing weight, just not responsibly or, not in a healthy way, not getting my micronutrients and my macronutrients not meditating, not writing in my journal. Very, very irresponsible. Poor behavior on my part. I really would love to be able to be like, and so, because I wanted to just, I've gotten to certain milestones. I want to be like, all right, we're going to see what happens when, we just stop all these patterns. It's an experiment. We're going to see what happens to life when you're just like, all right, we seem to be doing well. Let's just try and coast for a week and see what happens. Nope. What happened was it was Sunday. It was the evening. And I was like, I haven't made meals. I'm not going to make meals. I haven't even gotten groceries. Because I had agreed to volunteer for some stuff the weekend before. And I was like, no. Monday, I ended up having to hike out and get groceries and then come home and cook them. Because I was just like, I didn't have anything to eat. I don't stock stuff here. And I was like behind on videos. I hadn't made videos. Like, I don't want to. And it's fine. So we'll just call this a mental health week, which is an interesting thing, because it turned out to be kind of anything but. What I've discovered is that it is very easy. So there's a feeling that we, or at least I sort of intuitively have, that when you have a scheduled, ordered, planned sort of life, it is somehow absent of joy, if that makes sense. That when you say, if you had things structured, because I had things really structured. I was marking on my calendar things. I was like, we're going to do this and this and this. Like it was very, very structured. And when you do that, you feel like, wow, this person must be real stick in the mud. Must be very unhappy, just rigidly moving from one thing to the next. Really, the free time and the not feeling like you've accomplished stuff is really, really rough. Not eating well was also not particularly a good idea. A lot of stress, a lot of anxiety as well, which probably partially the food habits, partially the meditation, partially, whatever. It's interesting, though. It was not as bad. It was not as bad as where I had been before I kind of started this effort to just be better. And I didn't... My weight loss did sort of taper off a little bit, but it's still going. I'm now safely, well below... No, I mean... I'm in the low 2090s, 290s. So I'm not in danger of crossing over that 300 threshold, which is very exciting, because I don't remember being under 300. Well, I guess now I do. I do remember being under 300. It's fun. It's weird. I'm starting to actually notice that I've lost a little bit of weight. I'm starting to actually feel it and see it, and it's weird. So I'm like, I don't know who this person is. I've never been this person. I'm getting to discover this whole thing. It's very fun. The other thing that I kind of learned, so I guess to wrap up that main point, if you find that something is working for you, like some sort of routine, there's no reason to feel like the routine makes you stagnant. That taking time out to meditate or whatever, or to eat healthy, or to say, I'm going to schedule such and such amount of time to do this every day or whatever, can be incredibly liberating and, in fact, make you happy. We feel like when we have a very structured day that must be stressful. In fact, I think the opposite is true, at least for me, which is surprising because I'm a lazy person. And yet still, when I get done with the day and it's been structured and I've gotten a bunch of stuff done, yeah, I had to expend a lot of energy to get that stuff done, but man, I feel so much less stressed at the end of the day. Because I'm like, I can sleep. I deserve it. Whereas you lunch around and you're like, gosh, I really should be doing something. You spend all that time, all that energy that you would spend doing stuff, you instead direct inward to criticize yourself. It's not great. Second thing I learned, I'm just checking time here. Oh yeah, 10 minutes. I can bore you for longer. I can do better. All right. Second thing I learned is, man, it is way harder to spin back up, right? Which I guess I sort of knew, right? But I assumed, all right, so I'll take a week off. But I know how, I figured out how to make the 12 gaming videos and the other stuff. Like, I know how this all works. I'll just take a week off and then I'll pretend like that week never happened. Not so much. Trying to spin back up with streaming, which I still haven't done. Trying to spin back up with the blog post. I had a really hard time writing it. I missed 2 gaming videos today. I've got 4 of them out. I've missed 2, so there's another math of them left. There's another 6 videos left. We're going to see how many of those end up getting knocked out. Who knows? It's a mystery to me at the moment. I'm actually going to record some of those as soon as I'm done talking to you. It's a little disheartening, just that you can try and work on developing patterns that are good, and that, if you knock it off for a little bit, it can be really hard to bring things back up. Because what does that mean? Well, that means that if you take a vacation or life circumstances happen, you're like, there are going to be some times when you need to say, not this week. Maybe there's some family emergency or, whatever the case may be. What I think I've kind of picked up on, though, is that there are certain habits that you basically should just never quit. I think meditation is one for me. It has been so incredibly helpful, like beyond explaining. Like it has helped so much. Without going into too much detail, eating healthy and eating unhealthy, man, eating unhealthy, now that I've started to get used to being healthy, eating unhealthy does not agree with my gut. It's very, very unpleasant. It's not feeling good. Just, no. Which, I mean, I guess is a good surprise, right? Like, it's exciting to discover that, like, oh, yeah, your body is going to punish you if you eat poorly. Like, my body never used to do that. My body used to, be like, oh, you ordered pizza? We're going to have a party. That's awesome. Now my body is kind of more on the, hey, let's actually, I'm invested in this now. Let's do this, right? But I think it's an exercise worth thinking about. What are the habits in your life that you don't give up? Like, if you want to have, you take a vacation, still meditate, or still eat healthy, or still exercise, or whatever the heck it is that you do, and whatever it is that works for you. What are the things that, are good and are things that you want to do every day, but, sometimes you got to put them on hold because there are emergencies or reasons or whatever. And what are the things that are like, nope, this is critical. This is like remembering to breathe in terms of just mental, emotional, and physical hygiene. I'm just curious as to what those things are for you. So yeah, this video is a little odd because I'm still spinning back up, and it feels weird because I've just been gone a week. It's not, but we'll be back on track with more stuff next week, I'm sure. Trying to figure out still kind of what I want to focus my efforts into. I really am enjoying streaming a lot, or I was. Enjoying some of the gaming stuff. Some of the gaming stuff I'm getting a little frustrated with, just not feeling like I'm able to make a lot of progress or do particularly well. Not sure what I'm going to do with the book channel and the blog. I want to spend more time on, although it's becoming more difficult because I feel like I'm always just like, hey, here's what's going on, which I feel like I could do more. I don't know quite exactly what I want to do. Also, NaNoWriMo is coming up very soon, which some of you may have a passing interest in. NaNoWriMo is the National Novel Writing Month, because that's why it's the acronym. That's why. Premise is that you promise to write 50,000 words over the course of November. And if you do, nothing happens. And if you don't, nothing happens. It's pretty amazing. I did it last year, and it was actually really, really fun. I have the book. You know what? No, I'm going to get the book. Yeah, I'm not even cutting this. I don't cut these videos. I'm going to go get the book. Yeah, there's the book. It's a book called Spacewalk, a novel by Kevin Geesey. It is a terrible, 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 terrible book. I'm not going to read any of it to you. I don't like it. It is the worst. But that's the point, right? The goal of NaNoWriMo is to just get 50,000 words written and to not... Because what's the hardest thing about doing things? Doing things. Life advice from Kevin. Now I want to add a little just freeze frame and quote text. So one of you can do that, right? Hit me on Twitter @CheersKevin with just a freeze frame with what's the hardest thing about doing things, and there we go. Thank you, I appreciate that. But the idea is to just get something out there, and then you have accomplished a thing. You have done a thing. It doesn't have to be good. And in fact, for most people who write things, the first thing is terrible. But if you don't finish the terrible thing, then everything you write is the first thing. And so all you produce is terrible. So this is an exercise in trying to not do that. Trying to finish a terrible thing so that maybe future you can be like, hey, that terrible thing, I'm going to use that as ingredients, put it in a mulcher or something, I don't know, and make a good thing out of that, or at least a slightly less terrible thing. Anyway, you can go to NaNoWriMo.org. Not a sponsor. I don't know. If you're interested, I'm going to do it this. Okay, I've said it now. I'm going to do it this year. It's going to be interesting. You have to write 50,000 words by the end of the month, which I think comes out to 1,666 words, depending on the. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, no, 1,666 words, if I'm remembering correctly, which is a lot. It's a fair amount, but it's also, if you really get. If you really get the wind at your back, you can go ahead and do that. So if that's something interesting to you, go ahead and give it a shot, because it's fun. And I hope that you're doing well. Earnestly do. I hope that life is treating you well. I hope that your friends and family are all healthy. I hope that things aren't too stressful. I know toward the end of the year, things do get both exciting and stressful, because it's just kind of high energy and lots of ads flinging at you and lots of commitments and holiday season and all of that, because man, we're getting into that. So take a moment, let's breathe together, right? I'm gonna be a dorky guru. Let's just inhale and exhale. I don't know why we did that. That was dumb. Okay, I'll see you next week, guys. Cheers.